I am V. Sirisha, Associate Professor, Government City College. Today's topic is Financial Statement Analysis. Today's topic, Techniques of Financial Statement Analysis. In that, we have several techniques or methods used in financial statement analysis. They are: the first is comparative statement analysis. So this thing we have already done it, and common size statement also we have done it. Now coming to the next technique or method of analysis is ratio analysis. What do we mean by ratio analysis? Once the financial statement of an organization are prepared, then they need to be analyzed. One such tool to analyze and assess the financial situation of the firm is ratio analysis. So here ratio analysis will allow the stakeholder to make better sense of the accounts and better understanding the current fiscal scenario of an entity. So now let us look in detail about the ratio analysis. Here ratio analysis is a simple mathematical expression. So it is a number expressed in terms of another number, expressing the quantitative relationship between the two things. That is, ratio can be expressed as a pure number, as a fraction, as a percentage, or in standard form. For example, when we compare long-term debt with shareholders' funds, it is best expressed as a ratio. We say that the ratio is 2:1. However, if we have to compare net profit with revenue from operations, the preferred way to express it is as a percentage. So that net profit is 15% of revenues. Sometimes instead of percentages, it is expressed as a pure number. We say net profit to revenues is 0.15. Mathematically, 0.15 is equal to 15%. Thus, a ratio is a number that can be expressed in different ways with the objective of clearly bringing out the relationship between the two numbers being compared. Here, ratio analysis is the technique of interpretation of financial statements with the help of various meaningful ratios. Here, ratios do not add to any information that is already available, but they show the relationship between two items in a more meaningful way. They help us to draw certain conclusions. Here, ratios may be used for comparison in any of the following ways. One is comparison of a firm with its own performance in the past, or comparison of one firm with another firm in the industry. Thirdly, comparison of one firm with the industry as a whole. Fourth one, comparison of an achieved performance with predetermined standards. And last one, comparison of one department of a concern with other departments. So for these comparisons, ratio analysis will be helping us a lot. Now coming to the meaning of ratio analysis. Here we have previously learned about what ratios are. So here they are comparison of two numbers with respect to each other. Similarly, in finance, in ratios are a correlation between two numbers, or rather two accounts. So two numbers derived from the financial statement are compared to give us a more clear understanding of them. This is accounting ratio. Coming to the objectives of ratio analysis. What are all the objectives of ratio analysis? Here, interpreting the objectives are Interpreting the financial statements and other financial data is essential for all stakeholders of an entity. Ratio analysis hence become a vital tool for financial analysis and financial management. So some of the objectives of ratio analysis are here. First one is it is simple and it measures it will be acting as a tool for the measurement of profitability. Profit is the ultimate goal of every business organization. For example, ABC firm earned a profit of 5 lakhs last year. How will you determine if that is good or bad figure? Context is required to measure the profitability, which is provided by ratio analysis. Gross profit ratio, net profit ratio, expense ratio, etc. provide a measure for the profitability of a firm. The management can use such ratios to find out problem areas and improve upon them. And it is also simple. So ratios make large numbers simple. Instead of saying that there are 12,73,447 miles and 11,99,000 Instead of saying there are 12,73,447 males and 11,99,658 females in the city, it is simpler to state that there are 515 males to 485 females for every 1,000 residents in the city. So it immediately becomes relatable. So thus it is better to say that the debt of equity ratio of an organization is 1.73 instead of stating that the organization has taken a loan of so many crores. Similarly, ratio analysis simplifies the understanding of financial statements. Now coming to the evaluation of operational efficiency. So this is another objective of the ratio analysis. Objective or importance of the ratio analysis or advantages of the ratio analysis. So here certain ratios highlight the degree of efficiency of a company in the management of its assets and other resources. It is important that assets and financial resources be allocated and uses efficiently to avoid unnecessary expenses. Turnover ratio and efficiency ratio will point out any mismanagement of assets. So here this is another objective. And third one is ensure suitable liquidity. Here, every firm has to ensure that some of its assets are liquid in case it requires cash immediately. So, the liquidity of a firm is measured by ratios such as current ratio and quick ratio. These help a firm maintain the required level of short-term solvency. And next objective is overall financial strength. There are some ratios that help determine the firm's long-term solvency. They help determine if there is a strain on the assets of the firm or if the firm is over-leveraged. The management will need to quickly rectify the situation to avoid liquidation in the future. Example of such ratios are debt equity ratio, leverage ratio, etc. Here it also next objective is comparison. Here establishes the relationship. So here organization ratios must be compared to the industry standards to get a better understanding of its financial health and fiscal position. The management can take corrective action if the standards of the market are not met by the company. The ratios can also be compared to the previous year ratios to see the progress of the company. This is known as trend analysis. So here, if a corporate announces that it has made a profit of 547 crores in the previous accounting year, what conclusion should we draw? Is that huge or is it very minuscule? So our first impression would be that it is very high. However, if the share capital of the company is 30,000 crores, then we immediately understand that the returns on shareholders' money is very low. So this way it will be doing the facility of establishing the relationship. Coming to the comparison also, here if for example a survey says that the population of a city is 40 lakhs, it is difficult for a person to make any interference from that number. Is it less or is it more? Is it a small city or a large city? However, if it is stated that the density of population of the city is 18,000 per square kilometer, we immediately understand that there are about 18,000 people living in the city for every 1 square kilometer. So this number becomes more meaningful when we compare it with the density of population of other cities. We can then say whether the city has enough space for its residents or if it is congested. So like this, ratio analysis will be helpful. Now coming to the interrelationships also, it will be doing the work of interrelationship. Ratios will be bringing out the interrelationship among various financial figures and bring to light their financial significance. Ratio analysis is a device to analyze and interpret the financial health of the enterprise. And this ratio analysis also helps in planning and forecasting. Ratios contribute significantly towards effective planning and forecasting in the way that a study of trend in the past works as a helpful guide for the future. And it also helps in ratio analysis, also helps in effective control. Ratio serves as an effective control tool by facilitating establishment of a standard costing system and budgetary control. For example, in a limited over cricket match, a team that has to score 251 runs to win in 50 overs constantly monitors its run rate. At the beginning of the innings, the run rate is 5 runs per over. However, after 10 overs, the team has scored 40 runs. Its management knows that they will have to accelerate the scoring rate as they are behind the requirement run rate. Similarly, a team batting first will look at scores made on the ground in previous games and set a standard or target of 300 runs in a 50 overs match or 160 runs in a 200 over match. So this will help them to monitor their progress. So this way ratios will be helping the organization. And also interfirm and intra-firm comparisons also can be done with the help of the ratios. That brings out the strengths, weaknesses and efficiencies of the firm and their departments also. And ratio analysis also helps in communication. Ratios cater to the particular information need of the particular person. Depending on his interest in the business, specific ratios can be calculated. A creditor may be interested in liquidity ratio while an investor may want to study profitability ratio. Like this, ratio analysis will be helping each and every person who want to get the information about the organization. Ratio analysis also acts as an aid to the decision making. So these ratio analysis will be serving as an effective tool for bringing out the critical information necessary for the management. Management may look at various efficiency ratios and then takes the decision to improve the overall efficiency. So like this, it will be ratios also will be helping to identify the weak areas. So when the weak areas identified, overall financial position can be developed and their performance can be increased with the help of the ratios. A decline in a particular ratio or a falling trend can sound out warning bells, and remedial actions can be started before there is future loss in business. So this is all about the objectives or importance of ratio analysis. Now coming to the advantages. Here the advantages are, when employed correctly, ratios analysis throws light on many problems of the firm and also highlights some positives. Ratios are essential whistleblowers. They drew the management attention towards issues needed attention. So now coming to the advantages. Ratio analysis will be helping and helps in validate or disprove the financing, investment and operating decisions of the firm. Ratios summarize the financial statement into comparative figures, thus helps the management to compare and evaluate the financial position of the firm and the results of their decisions. Secondly, it simplifies complex accounting statements and financial data into simple ratios of operating efficiency, financial efficiency, solvency, long-term positions, etc. Ratio analysis helps to identify problem areas and bring the attention of the management to such areas. Some of the information is lost in the complex accounting statements, but the ratios will help pinpointing such problems and take the remedial measures. Then coming to the next advantages, allows the company to conduct comparisons with other firms, with industry standards, with intra-firm comparisons, etc. This will help the organization better understanding its physical position in the economy. Coming to the limitations of ratio analysis. Ratios are very important tools of the financial analysis. They have some limitations. They are, the firm can make some year-end changes to their financial statements to improve their ratios. Then the ratios end up being nothing but window dressing. Here, wrong conclusions. A study of ratios is isolation. Without studying the actual figures may lead to wrong conclusions. Ratios are only supplementary to and not substitute for absolute figures. So now coming to the second one is, ratios ignore the price level changes due to inflation. Many ratios are calculated using historical costs and they overlook the changes in price level between the periods. This does not reflect the correct financial situation. So as it is dependable as base data, ratios can be only as correct as the data on which they are based. If the original data is not reliable, then ratios will be misleading. Accounting ratios completely ignore the qualitative aspect of the firm. They only take into consideration the monetary aspects, quantitative only. And it is lack of consistency also. Ratio analysis suffers from lack of consistency. They are defined differently by various experts and hence are prone to manipulation. So, absence of well accepted standards, interpretation of ratios becomes subjective. Lack of consistency is defined as also the limitation and also makes the comparison difficult. Coming to the next one, there are no standard definitions here. So firms may be using different formulas for the ratios. One such example is current ratio, where some firms take into consideration all current liabilities but other ignore bank overdraft from current liabilities while calculating current ratios. Impact of price changes will be ignored. Changes in price levels affects the comparability of the ratios. Ratios fail to reflect the impact of price level changes and hence can be misleading. There is no universal price hike percentage. So now coming to the next one, finally, accounting ratios do not resolve any financial problems of the company. They are a means to the end, not the actual solution. And it is lacking the standardization. Apart from the ratios not being uniformly defined, there is also a lot of difference in opinion of what should be the ideal ratios. Is a debt equity ratio of 2:1 uniformly acceptable to all analysts? Will the message interpreted from a current ratio of 3:1 be uniform across analysts? So like this. So it is one of the limitation. Next, quantitative factors will be ignored. Already discussed that ratios are hardcore numbers. They are objective. Ratios are only tools of quantitative analysis. They fail to take into account the qualitative aspects of the business. They do not tell the true story as qualitative factors are ignored. Coming to the few more limitations are not ideal for inter-firm comparison. The two firms may adopt different accounting policies and hence the result might not be comparable. Similarly, a change in accounting policies by a firm will make intra-firm comparisons meaningless. And some more are historical data is already I have discussed that ratios are based on past data. They cannot be a reliable guide to future performance as future is dependent on various other factors. So these are all the limitations of ratio analysis. This is the end of today's topic.